And we're back one more time. And where we last left off, we were having a very compelling discussion about corporate environments, corporate work environments, and how if they're not careful, they'll lose really great employees that are no longer, you can't just entice people anymore to come work for you by just saying, oh, well, this is your number of vacation days or sick days, or these are your stock options, or this is your 401k. Like, I think now, because we're talking about self-care and it's becoming more normalized in everyday conversation, people are not being convinced just because you can throw money at them if it affects their ability to have self-care. They want to know
how they can be able to be their best selves at work and not compromise their health, wellness, and their self-care. And so how do you do that? So pretty much it starts with asking your workforce, what is it that you all need to be more productive here? What time do you need to feel healthier at work? And talk to them and ask those questions. And so at the beginning of working with anybody, so for example, I'm also a monthly contributor with KDK for Pittsburgh Today Live. So every Tuesday, last Tuesday of the month, I'm on for Transformation Tuesdays. But one of the things that I did with the Pittsburgh Today Live staff is work with them around a 6-week challenge. Now, it was something that kind of started off, we wanted to do it and see how it went. But I coached that whole team. And one of the things that I found out is that they start their day at like 2:30 in the morning, right? They're up. 2:30 in the morning is ridiculous.
Yes.
And they're doing all this stuff and then they're there. None of them, with the exception of one person, had breakfast. And they barely ate stuff, and then they were all eating things that were unhealthy at night. Now, to look at the news, to look at the anchor team, they are all great looking people. Nobody really had anything where it's like, I need to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds, but they wanted to just overall feel better about their health or something like that. And so what we did is look at, okay, well, you want more energy, you want more focus, you don't want to succumb to getting these snacks later on at night, even though you're doing it in moderation and nobody's like, unhealthy. But it was a matter of looking at, okay, so let's put some things in place, like have some breakfast. Let's put some things in place, like let's look at some good snack options that you can have in your busy life as a news anchor and how that fits in, how we can make sure you're getting hydrated and getting what you need. And so it became this thing of really looking at what they needed and what they wanted and being able to put those systems in place for them.
Wow. I'm glad that you're able to work with them.
Yeah.
And I know I did watch one of the videos on your website where you were talking to them about just choices that they can make that'll be healthier for them. Like, I think you said something about, I think at one point it was like celery sticks, carrots. I don't remember the specifics, but I get it. I was just happy to see, one of us up there, representing. But we're coming to a close, so I think the final thing that I want to ask you about, let me see if I got it first. All right, so what's the final, because I just had it. I know. So as we started out the show talking about how you transformed your body, it took about 1.5 years for you to lose 100 pounds, 80 because of your second child, and then 20 more just because of continued poor
eating.
Right. So with all that, we know that peer pressure is a real thing, and peer pressure can be positive if someone is encouraging you to make healthy choices, but it can also be negative if someone is around you and they're encouraging you to do negative. And I want you to get kind of into our community, the Black community, and look at how those of us that grow up and we've attended certain things. And I know that you say that when you're at these big functions, you eat the way you want to eat and it's no big deal. But I'm talking about the days in between those holidays. How do you, if I'm someone that doesn't feel supported in my fitness or wellness journey, how do I fix that?
So first of all, I just wanted to clarify the thing about the holidays.
Okay.
So here's the thing. So no, I just want to clarify the two. Like, oh, she tears
crazy.
So here's the thing. I love cooking for Thanksgiving. It's all full butter, heavy whipping cream, all of that. But here's the thing. It's not the holidays that get you and throw your diet off or you gain a bunch of weight. It's all the leftovers and stuff you eat the day after. So I enjoy whatever I want Thanksgiving Day. right? I'm in whatever quantity I want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm naturally going to stop when I'm full, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to have a little bit of white turkey and maybe a salad. No. I'm having everything. I'm having a little bit of everything.
Right.
But I don't eat the leftovers.
Okay.
So the day after Thanksgiving, all bets are off. There's no more pie. There's no more cake. There's no more baked macaroni.
Right.
There's no more sweet potato. There's none of that.
Yeah, you don't take a plate home?
No. No, I don't. And it's the leftovers that get people jammed up. It's not the meal that day.
Right.
If I do have leftovers, it's really just the proteins and the vegetables, but it's not any of the other stuff. But in terms of looking at sort of breaking down how we help with those things and sabotaging people. So one of the things I like to do with people, and it was something that I had to do and I learned, is I had to, because like I said, nobody in my family said, oh, you put on a little weight. It was, feeding people, my family, feeding people is my mother's love language. You go to my mother's house, she's like, oh, baby, let me get you some fried catfish and grits. And it's delicious.
Yeah.
But,
you can't eat that every day.
Old people, my parents, first of all, they're hysterical, but they eat the same 6 things all the time. So fried catfish and grits is always in the rotation.
Right.
You can bump up to that at least twice a week.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I got you.
But what I had to do is I had to have a real honest talk with them and let them know, this is what I'm doing and here's what I need for you to feel supported. And that conversation was difficult because when you're up against somebody whose love language is to feed, because food is a way to show love, it can come across as a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm pushing you away.
Yeah.
I think I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like this anymore. And so it's like, look, this is what I need to do to change my body. It doesn't mean that, every holiday I'm not going to enjoy this. But for right now, while I'm in this moment, 6 months to a year to transform my body, I have to be on about this. And I need your support to help me so that I can be healthy. That's the conversation that has to happen. It's not about, I'm not talking to them because they're not supporting my fitness journey or forget this person or I'm breaking up with them. It's about having an honest conversation with the people that you love so that they're not saying, oh, I got you a bagel and a donut too. And you're like, I'm trying to lower my A1C right now. I don't want to be on diabetes medication. And you brought me a donut.
Yeah, I got you.
But that donut was brought out of love.
Right.
And so initially, if you have the conversation, say, this is what I'm doing and here's what I need from you all.
Right.
It doesn't come across as you pushing people
right
away.
And people might make jokes at first, but if they love you, eventually they'll respect you.
Now there is the other side of that where there are people who are saboteurs.
Oh, okay.
Intentionally.
All right.
Right, but they try not to say it's intentionally because for whatever reason they can't get themselves together, and so they rely on you to be their unhealthy ally.
Yeah, misery loves company.
Yes. And so when you start doing something, like I can remember when I first started on my journey, and I was getting closer and closer to the goal that I wanted to be for my weight loss, and I remember somebody close to me said, don't lose too much weight. And I'm like, I'm trying to get to a healthy body weight for my friend.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to become, somebody who has eating disorders or anything like that. But it was just sort of this thing was, we were each other's, overweight allies and friends. And now I was changing the game plan and leaving this person behind. So it was kind of like, it was something where it took me back because it was kind of hurtful. Like, what do you mean? But it's like, it's something that you have to realize that not everybody's going to be happy for you because you decide to get healthy.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, I think that's definitely good that you brought that up. All right, the final thing I want to ask you real quick, because I know that some of these terms should seem very, very normal and common and something that's real elementary, but when you say proteins, what do you mean?
So your animal proteins, your plant-based proteins. Okay. So your chicken, your fish, your beef, your poultry, your tofu, your
seitan.
Seitan.
Yeah. I didn't know how to say it.
It's delicious, and it's actually, if you are looking for a plant-based protein, it's probably the better one.
Right. I just know
because it's a high amount of protein in it. Now, I want to caution. So you have all of those, but that's the part where people fell short. Like, our country is so carbohydrate, sugar heavy that it's ridiculous. That people, even for breakfast, it's like a bunch of sugary stuff, and it's like, no, you need some protein in there to balance that for the insulin spikes.
I know I had some tofurkey one time, and it wasn't really for me like that. Now, what's funny now, I've heard it's weird because as soon as I find something that as soon as I find something that I like, of course, if somebody, it's kind of like with the whole vaccine thing, where it's just like if somebody gets it, then somebody else will be like, I can't believe you did that, or if or if you have like a Beyond Burger or an Impossible Burger, you know what they put in that, like what did they, and it's just like, well, we can't win. It's like somebody's trying to make a healthier choice, but then there's someone in the back that's lurking. It's just like that.
There's always going to be somebody that has something to say, and a lot of the things when people are like, I want to be vegan, I want to be vegetarian, my first question is always why. And if they say, well, because I want to lose weight, and I say to them, so how many in-shape vegans do you know personally?
Right, not Instagram, like
Instagram,
right, that you know,
not athletes who have chefs who are putting foods together for them, not
right.
all of these. No, how many in shape vegans or vegetarians do you currently know?
Right,
and they're like, oh, and I'm like,
they know Tom Brady and avocado ice cream.
That's it. That's all they know.
That's all they know.
That's all they know. And so the question becomes, is that something you want to do, or is that something that you want to do that you see value in because you want to do something better for your body holistically, or are you looking at it as a diet? Because most people will decide, I want to be vegan, and all of a sudden they just cut all of the meat, now they're eating all the carbs, and they gain 20 pounds. Well, you're just eating carbs all day long. That's kind of what happens.
I've heard mixed things about the keto diet, for example.
So, unless a person suffers from seizures, unless you are someone who has a brain disorder, or say like they're starting to find, there's a lot of research now that's starting to support that people who have Alzheimer's, that following the keto diet is good for them in terms of helping with things like that. Unless you are someone who is potentially on the autism spectrum, and having that type of diet helps with things regarding that, yes. But every day, all day, first of all, there is no research yet to show that keto, as it stands in an attempt to use fat for fuel, is something that actually works long term.